Alrighty, what is today's topic? As you can guess by the title, everything you need to know about an association. It doesn't matter if it's a homeowners association. Alright, and there may be a point or two I missed, or maybe a few inaccuracies here, but in general, it can be, anything that is an that's an association is going to be run this way. It always is the pyramid scheme. I do not care what anyone says within an association. It is a pyramid scheme in the sense that everyone living under the association allegedly pays into it. Everyone under the association allegedly, everyone within the association allegedly pays into it. That is not exactly how it works. All right? So, picture you've got your top dog, your alpha male, and the alpha female at the top of it. They make the most money and never pay into it. Alright, that is factually how it goes. The higher up you are, the better off you are in the association. American Truckers Association, homeowners associations, automotive, that AAA services is an association. All right. I think it's American Automobile Association or something like that. It's still an association. If you choose to get a membership with them, you're choosing to get screwed in the end. Case in point, I've lived under an association as it relates to homeowners. My parents were involved in a homeowners association. I know a lot of people who have lived under an association in general. Let's just cover this briefly here. The only people who make anything on it are businesses in general. And the high up people, which they are the business of the association. You can call it whatever you want. They are not for the people by the people. They may claim to be. They may claim to be your friend. But they will continue to gain power as they brainwash people. This is exactly what's wrong with America's highway transportation system as a whole. The American Truckers Association alleges that they're for the driver, by the driver. That is bullcrap. I have researched every executive officer, every chief officer of the ATA. None of them have ever possessed anything higher than a standard driver's license as it relates to driving. They've never had a commercial driver's license. They've never driven a vehicle any bigger than 26,000 pounds. They've never driven commercially at all. I didn't find any Uber, any Lyft, any this or any that experience from any of the chief officers in the ATA. Let me make myself clear. Not one chief officer in the ATA has ever been in the seat of a Class 7 or a Class 8 highway tractor. Right? None. 9 times out of 10, the officers within of any association do not even have to abide by it. because 9 out of 10 times they don't even live under it. I actually exposed several people in that homeowners association completely on my own at the age of technically being a minor. All right? Now, so it starts out, you got one, it usually starts out, hey, I want to, it starts out with one person coming up with the idea, let's create an association, it'll bring us all together. And then they get the taste of the money coming in that they have to just disperse. It never happens. It may start out that way. But before you know it, you have, for a homeowners association, before you know it, if you cannot keep up on your lawn, you will be paying for a lawn guy, such as what I have been in the past. I did walkways, driveways, sidewalks, and the entire yard. I made a lot of money at that age for my age. In 1 year, I had $1,000 to my name in profit. I bought my first dirt bike through my folks, of course. But let me explain this. It was factually a really great time for me and a lot of my customers. I empowered my customers. The association benefited me more than it benefited my customers. And let me explain why. The reason it benefited me more than my customers, unfortunately, that was the way the cookie crumbled. My dad was one of my customers, paid me $5 for the front, $5 for the back, and that was my rate for the whole area I covered. And at the age of 8 years old, I had, I think it was about 10 customers mowing a quarter acre, mowing anywhere from 1/8 of an acre to 1/4 of an acre per customer, averaging out to roughly 1/5 of an acre worth of lawn. They were all quarter acre parcels. And there were retired people that did a lot of it themselves, and they knew that if they were in a pinch, I'd come help them with it for very little of an expense at all. And really, most of my money, from how low my overhead was, I was able to put in my pocket. I reimbursed my parents for fuel, of course. But I was walking around with a broom and sweeping walkways, driveways, and all that at the age of 5. By the time I was 6, I had my first dirt bike. Yeah, paid for in cash. That is how an association can be great. If you're a business under the organization, it's great. But if you're the idiot that has to foot the bill, it's not right. Associations, purely a money racket. The high up people claim it goes back in to the homes and whatnot and the infrastructure. It does not. You look at even small towns, any municipality is factually an association. You pay for your water. You pay to get rid of your water in the form of waste, as in sewage. You pay to have your trash hauled off. You pay to have your recycling hauled off. You pay electricity. You pay exorbitant taxes on an exorbitantly overpriced building on an exorbitantly overpriced property a home of the same size, that same home you buy in the city for $300,000 in the West Plains area, a $300,000 house in city limits, you can get with 40 times the land for 50 grand less. And you get 40 times the land. You don't have to pay for your water and sewer every month. You don't have to pay for garbage service. You can haul it yourself if you got a trailer or something. It's not that bad living out in the country. People say, oh, I hate it. It's a long drive and this and that. That is your choice if you want to drive to the big city to work. Understand this. In the big city, when your money hits the big city, it stays in the big city. And usually gets transferred within various other big cities. In a small town, let's say you go to a mom and pop shop in your town. That dollar is going to, $9 out of a $10 bill is going to stay in the town you spent it in. And that very town you spent it in, $9 out of 10 are going to stay in it. The other dollar is going away in taxes in general. Taxes and whatever for the business. All right? Let me explain this to you. I choose to live in the general area that I do because I like it. I have lived in the big city. It sucks. You never truly get good sleep. You never truly get a lot of productivity done. You never truly feel good in a big city. I'm a small town boy who's been in the big city, who came back to where I once was. It wasn't a step down for me. For me, it was a giant step up. Sadly, though, most of my rent goes bye-bye. Most of my rent doesn't stay in this town. It goes to some fat mother freaker in a big city. That's the part that bothers me. That's the part that ticks me off. That is what happens with renting. Only 1% of rentals, only 1% of them, ever stay just within the family that actually owns it and doesn't go into the 99th mortgage payment of another acquired property. I have a brother, I've got a god brother. Well, god brother-in-law, but anyways, point is, I got a god sibling married into the family, right? He factually is an excellent landlord. I would love to be one of his tenants. I can't. He doesn't have rentals where I'm at. By the way, god brother, if you're out there, get some around your dad-in-law's house, please, around that area, please. And, it needs to happen. But anyways, I'm not going to specifically mention names or anything as to family members and whatnot. But I'm here to tell you that associations are a money racket. They're a legalized version of the mob. Before you know it, you're pretty much playing the Brokeback Fountain Well, the Brokeback Mountain mover going from one dead end to another. You will never come out on top on a minimum wage job. You will never come out on top with a minimum wage job. You need to value yourself and not just take the first job that comes your way. All right? I'm going to explain this to you crystal clear. You do not need to accept the first job that comes your way. It's probably going to be a dead-end job. Let me continue to explain this. A minimum wage job is usually only available under an association of some sort. I do not appreciate our municipality that I live under in general. I do not appreciate our landlord because our landlord does nothing to the level it needs to be done. People fall on the ice. I don't want to hear this. Oh, you live in the north. That's to be expected. Let me explain this. Where I am renting. Where I'm renting is literally the worst of the worst when it comes to maintenance. Snow and ice measured in inches on the walkways in the mornings in the wintertime. Snow and ice in inches on the walkways. Everywhere else, you actually have bare pavement in the streets that are safer to walk on. Apartments are bullshit. I apologize for the language. If you like living in an apartment and you want to bitch about me, shut up. I don't want to hear it. If you live in an apartment and want to bitch and moan about your neighbor up there having sex but not say anything, how about this? How about you march your hind end up on their door, to their door, put a note on their door, and actually have their love life chart taped to their door. That is the ultimate way of telling a person, I know how many times you screw. And you know, if you really want to take it to the ultimate level, include on that chart how long they last. Yeah, that is truly embarrassing to a person that lives above someone else. It is what it is. Y'all be safe. Have a good one.